Daniel Jones has finally been benched. His time as the starting quarterback of the New York Football Giants is over, and it's Tommy DeVito as the new starting quarterback, man behind center. And I think that's a little bit of a surprise as their choices to who they've gone, because they've effectively the third guy's gone to first. So, Will, are you surprised by their choice of who's going to be the new QB1, or do you think just the Giants are just completely tanking now and they're just trying to do their best to lose?
Yeah, no, I mean, you've got to try and make it look like you're trying to compete. I think Tommy DeVito. Sorry, that was a really bad impression. But he's essentially, he gave him a spark last year, and they want to see if he can do that. But we all know the real reason why is it's a soft tank. Who's their number two? I believe it's
Drew Lock.
Drew Lock. Drew Lock might decide to try and win a few games, and they probably don't want that to happen right now, because they realize they could be in a really good position to acquire some pieces, and they need to try and rebuild. There are some QBs coming out in this year's draft, and the Giants, I mean, you're looking at like Shedeur Sanders and Cam Ward, probably the only two that I can think off the top of my head, and like whether or not Shedeur will play in New York, that's yet to be decided. But this is, make no mistake, it's a soft tank. I recently watched there's these memes online with Daniel Dimes saying he just pulled one of the best fleeces of all time. Like how many games has he won in these 2 years? We're talking 3 games, I believe, in 2 seasons. We're talking like touchdowns are anemic, barely there, and he's getting paid $90 million guaranteed. So it's embarrassing. When you look at it, this is actually one of the worst contracts and how it panned out with the player across sport. We're not just talking football, sports in general. He not completely under-delivered, and he didn't even come close. We're talking 3 wins in 2 years, and you pay someone $90 million. Like, this is a lesson learned. And it obviously led to the firing of the GM, deservedly so. He's kind of like, I think Neighbors kind of kept him. I think if they didn't have Neighbors, or if they drafted the wrong receiver, he would have been gone before then. That's all I'm saying. But Neighbors kind of kept him in the job until beyond the halfway point of this year. But it was only a matter of time. Like, people keep leaking the footage. You've got assistants.
Joe Schoen's still Joe Schoen's still the general manager.
Is he?
Yeah.
Is he?
Yeah. You think you're getting Jets and Giants mixed up again?
Yeah, I'm thinking Jets. Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
no. So you did this. Yeah. So you think Joe Schoen's going to be gone as well?
Guaranteed, 100%. After everything that's happened, you paid the wrong player. You've stuck to that player as well. Like, you've seen examples like my Eagles where we paid a guy.
Or do you think this is going to be his first opportunity to draft someone, and then that's going to be whether or not he makes it with that person will determine whether he stays or goes?
Why would you want him in the building? Why do you want him in the building?
Okay, so here's why.
Continuity?
Because Dable doesn't become a bad coach overnight.
I'm not saying, but I'm saying.
Okay, so here's why.
I'm talking about the GM.
But they're linked
can I offer
together.
Why,
can I
offer why they'll keep the GM?
Go on.
It's because it wasn't them that signed Daniel Jones to that $40 million per year. It was John Mara that did it. The owner likes Daniel Jones and thought they would make it work. And it's an ownership move. So here's the thing. Come end of the season, if Joe Schoen and Dable don't get fired, then you know it was the ownership that wanted Daniel Jones to be resigned and for them to try and work with him past the 1 year that they worked with him. But if they still maintain the head coach and the GM, that means they get the opportunity, like Dilly said, to draft their own guy. Because they didn't draft Daniel Jones. They came to meet him there. And it's not working, clearly. And he was paid $40 million. Now, that $40 million is the decision that we're going to find out this offseason, whether it was made by Joe Schoen or that decision was made by John Mara, the owner of the Giants, because everyone knows Saquon should have gotten paid before Daniel Jones. Here's the consequences of when you don't evaluate and pay the right piece of the offense. because as good as Daniel Jones was in that 1 year, that I think, did they make the playoffs that year?
Yep.
I'm not sure if they made the playoffs or they didn't. In that 1 year that they made the playoffs, it was Saquon that was carrying the offense, but they obviously thought it was Danny Dimes, but it wasn't. So at the end of the day, we'll find out this offseason.
Well, the year that went 9-6-1.
Yeah. I think genuinely, I think they will give him another chance to draft his own guy, because most GMs haven't brought in their own guys. They normally get an extra year or so to bring their own guy. It's a bit like similar to the Chicago Bears situation in a way. Like Ryan Poles, with all that said, they still gave him the opportunity to draft his quarterback in Caleb Williams, because he came to meet Justin Fields and whatever the Bears had.
New York's a different market though, man. I don't think the media is gonna stomach that. Like I don't like Daboll staying. I think I agree that's fine because he did a really good job the first year. And then it's been
the team's been a basket case since, right?
Yeah. How do you build the roster? Like, who do you have in? Are you replacing pieces? Are you putting people in the correct position to be successful? Like the roster and how you ultimately, that's the GM's job, like to construct a team. And then you then got to adapt as the season goes on, right? So you've got to ask yourself
the roster is not that bad though. That's the thing.
It's good.
Okay, so if I look at, so we know that the Giants are not going to be doing much this year. We know that they're going to be looking towards quarterback in the draft, right?
Yep.
And then the future for Danny Dimes, he could end up being cut at the end of the season. They'll take a cap hit. Mm-hmm. But there is still room for Daniel Jones to be a backup in this league. There's no doubt to that.
Oh yeah, there's still room for him to be a backup. Thinking of places that he could go, which if the Giants cut him, does any NFL teams have connections to Dave Cutcliffe, who was his head coach at Duke? Obviously,
either that or just somebody who needs somebody who's mobile, right? But it's just whether or not.
Yeah, ideally you want someone that can kind of match the skill set of your starter. So then you don't have to run a completely different offense. Passing the ball, he's definitely not going to be there, but he can definitely move it with his legs. So there's places he could go because you can run.
That's providing that he doesn't end up being I don't think he's going to be on the Giants beyond the end of the season. But please let us know what you think about the Danny Dimes situation. Obviously now he is benched and now he is QB4. Please drop a subscribe and we'll catch everybody on the next video.